Hello, my name is Travis Pullen, and this tutorial will cover generating a standard report for compensation. So from your home page, you're going to have a list of your hotel or the properties that you manage if you oversee more than one. So we're going to click Create Report next to the property for which we want to run a report for that market, and we're going to use this test resort in Scottsdale. So I'll click Create Report, and then we're going to select our survey, which is going to be current data for the PeerMark. And we want to create it for compensation, so we'll select that. And we're going to run a standard report. The standard report is preferable when you're running a report for many job titles at once. Report data, so when we run the report, we can view the data in terms of how we entered it ourselves. So if we entered it as an hourly rate, it's going to match us as an hourly rate, although we could view it annually, hourly, or monthly. Most of the time, you're going to click Match My Data. If you ever have a question about what one of these statistics means, if you hover your cursor over the question mark, you will get a definition. We could put in a target percentile if we wanted to, or we could put in the weighted average. We also have a data aging calculator, so if you wanted to age your data to a certain point in time, you could do that, and that comes in handy for forecasting for the next year. For now, I'm just going to leave it as no and click Next. And then we're going to get a map and corresponding list of hotels below for our market. The list is sortable by any of the headers. Or we could zoom in on the map. And for the standard report, I prefer the map. Our test hotel or your hotel is going to be depicted by the black flag on the map. The red stick pins represent full-service hotels. And if we put our cursor over any of the stick pins, then we get the name and address of that location. Blue stick pins represent limited service hotels. Yellow are vacation ownership, and if there were green stick pins on the map, that would represent a casino. We could clean the map up if we wanted to by using filters. So if I click yes, that's going to give us a drop-down of filters we can use to clean up the map in terms of what type of inventory we want to view here. Right now, everything is checked, so I could deselect this, and let's say we're only interested in the full-service hotels in our market. I could click that. We also have head count, revenue, rooms, star and diamond rating. If I put in 4 and 5 star and diamonds, it'll just give us full-service hotels that meet that criteria. And let's say we're only interested in non-union properties. I could put that in too. So now when I click Apply Filters, it's going to clean up the map and the list and leave us with only those properties that meet those requirements that we put in. And then from the map or the list, I can start clicking off my comp set. So then once we select our comp set, I'll click Next. And that's going to give us a list of job titles. All of our job titles that we have data entered for, we have an effective date in terms of when we last input data for that job title. And then for those job titles where we haven't entered any data, then we don't have a date stamp. In order to run a report for any job title, it requires that we have at least 5 hotels or more who have entered their data so that we're in compliance with Department of Justice guidelines. So from the list, I can go down and click out those job titles for which I want to run my report, and then once I select them, I'll scroll to the bottom and click Create Report. And that will give us our report. We also have a document map on the side. From the document map, we could quickly get to any other of the job titles that we ran a report for. And then for each job title, we could also see who actually uploaded their data. So if I click Security Guard, it's going to give me a list of the properties that we selected in our comp set who actually input their data with the last time that they updated it. We can collapse this document map by clicking this arrow, and then that way we can view the entire report now. How we read the report is your data for your property is in this blue column under Response. So for our room service server, we're paying them $16.19. The market, they're paying $6.94 of those 7 properties that input their data for average base pay. So we're at the 100th percentile. We're paying $9.25 more than our competitive set, which equates to 133% more. And then we have the same breakdown for the starting rate, the amount of a probationary adjustment, incentive, bonus, commissions, the pay range maximum, the lowest and highest paid incumbents, whether it's an exempt. So all 7, 100% said that this is a non-exempt job title, and how they receive a pay increase. So 57.1 or 4 hotels said it's based on merit. 28.6 or 2 hotels said flat across the board, and 1 said other. Whether or not they're unionized, all 7 said no, they're not. That's how we read the report. We can either drop it into a report format via Excel, PDF, or Word. I just selected PDF. And this is something you might want to do where if you run a report for all of your job titles and then download it into a report format, or you could punch it and put it in a 3-ring binder for quick reference, you could do that. So it's going to crunch away here and drop it into a PDF file. I'll click Open. And here we have it in PDF. So then if we wanted to, we could just print it out in the report format. Most of the time, though, you're going to drop it right into an Excel flat file. So I'll click that. It's going to download the information. I'll click Open. And what we have here is 1 line item for each job title in the spreadsheet. So this is probably the best format for you when you want to further manipulate the information. And that concludes the session on how to run a report, a standard compensation report. If you have any questions about that, feel free to call us anytime at 888-330-9243. And thank you for joining me.